So what are your strengths? If you
I
can't
would
pick
say
one,
my
that's
strength.
fine. We can move on. Welcome, Oliver. Can you summarize? Can you give us one sentence summary of what Ventrata is?
So Ventrata is a reservation booking technology for large tour operators. We primarily work with bus and coach tour operators and day tour operators. We do a lot of hop on, hop off as well.
Excellent. That was 3 sentences, but we'll let you off. When did you start?
Company founded late 2016, but the product was actually ready and launched by about middle of 2017.
Okay. And what made you come into this business?
So the original plan was to create a sort of channel manager connectivity platform, and we were struggling a lot with the other ticketing systems in the space and ended up pivoting to building Ventrata. My background was that I had worked for an OTA based in London previously, and that kind of gave me an insight into the problems surrounding the attraction ticketing space, and that's when we started.
How many customers do you have?
We've got about 50 customers in total. We don't necessarily count the number of customers. A lot of our customers have multiple operations in different cities. If we were to count that, it would probably come out at a couple of hundred. But annually, if we took our 2019 volumes, we'd be processing about $700 million on behalf of our customer base.
Nice. Do you expect to do that this year, or is next year kind of the first year you'll get back to normal?
Yeah, well, we're currently tracking about 30% pre-COVID levels at the moment across our whole platform.
Right.
That's sort of averaged, obviously, in Europe right now. It's more like 5%. In the US, we're looking at more like 40–50%.
Okay.
So
and you took on some big customers, didn't you, during COVID? What are some of the big customers you're now working with?
Yeah, so we welcomed big bus tours globally. The 21 cities came on board for the full ticketing solution. Also, Historic Tours of America, which own the Old Town Trolley brands, came on board. And yeah, they're both very large organizations, multi-city, multi-destination, hundreds, if not thousands, of employees.
Yeah. Hey, let's do a SWOT analysis. So I want to do strengths first, you personally, and then Ventrata. This is a quick fire SWOT analysis. So what are your strengths? If you can't
I would say my strength.
We can move on.
I think my strength is in product. I really enjoy, and I think I'm particularly good at understanding the business needs and problems of our clients and translating that into a user experience and technology that's on point, that makes sense, it's easy to use. And yeah, I think very often it's difficult to get that crossover. People tend to be very good at tech, or they're very good at the business needs and the requirements. And I place myself sort of very much between the two.
Yeah, it's a good skill for an engineer, for someone who understands the code, to be able to also talk to human beings. It's a good skill to have. So what about the strength as a company in the market?
I think a lot of the problems that companies make is where they start out in the smaller arena, smaller operators, and then try and work their way up. And they're stuck in the middle where they have to try and continue to service the product for the smaller client, but they also want to service a larger client. And I think that's where a lot of systems get undone. We very much jumped in the deep end. Our very first customer was 10 million plus. And that meant that our product from the start, from the get-go, has been enterprise focused.
So you got ability to take on large enterprises is your strength, in summary. Personal weakness and then company weakness.
I got too many to count, but probably the biggest is I like to bury myself in the product and engineering side and don't care to focus too much on the sort of biz dev or sales or managerial side of the company. I like to just get my hands dirty and stay involved in the trenches. But as companies grow, that only gets you so far. And larger companies definitely need a CEO that can step back and look strategically at where the company's going, and hire in and place important managers to look after the team and grow that way, rather than just
typical developer. You want to be in the basement writing code and ignore the rest of the humans.
Yeah, it's probably a bit typical. But
and what about weaknesses? Ventrata weakness.
I would say one of our biggest weaknesses is that we rely too heavily on word of mouth. So I'd say the company's weakness is that we're not investing enough in, getting our name out there, letting people know what we can do, and being in the fold when they come to make a decision about what technology company to use next.
Okay, good. That was like I call it a baby negative. It's kind of a negative to throw out there to make yourself look good. But that's fine. In one sentence, opportunity for the company.
The quality of technology goes down as the size of the client goes up in towards activities. And it's our goal and our mission to reverse that.
And your biggest threat?
Our biggest threat is that we've done all of this too soon. Yeah, we've gone too quickly, and we're trying to push too many boundaries at once. And sometimes that can be a little difficult to digest if you're a 600-year-old attraction and you've done the same way for 20, 30 years.
What would a successful exit look like to you?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Firstly, we've been profitable since 2018 as a company. Even over COVID, we just about broke even. So we're not in a desperate need to exit as a company. And we could very easily and happily grow and continue to grow as a company, being profitable and just doubling down on what we've done moving forward. And I think that's just a successful exit, is selling for a lot of money for a much larger company.
How much money?
So, wow. Well, I made myself a promise when I was 23, 22, when I started this, that I wanted to have $1 million in my bank by 30.
So $1 million you want to sell today for $1 million and you're happy?
No, I think the team that have stock and our investors deserve a bit more than that. But that was my personal goal. So if we were to sell now, I think 3x revenue.
Right.
And if our revenue right now, well, I'd say it's I won't say on air, but it's a little less than 10 million a year.
Okay, good goal. All right, last section. This is really, really quick fire. So when I say quick fire this time, it needs to be quick fire. Which is one company you admire?
I really admire Hornblower as an organization. I think it's very, very rare that a large tour operator gets technology right.
Founder, inside or outside the industry?
I would say the CEO of Shopify, a guy named Tobias. He was very much similar to me, very focused on code, very focused on engineering. Didn't particularly like getting involved in anything outside of that. Still does immerse himself in that space, and still manages to grow a company to $40 billion market cap.
Normally I say 23, but what would you tell your 19-year-old self? What's one piece of advice?
It would just be stop being so cautious. I think no one looks back in their life and think, well, I'm glad I took my time on that.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Best 3 countries you've visited?
South Africa, Thailand, and Switzerland.
Final question. Top 3 countries you'd like to visit that you haven't been to?
South America, Japan, Australia.
Okay. Well, forgive the first one being a continent. Maybe you don't understand that, but hey, thanks. It's been great talking. Hope to catch up with you very soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye now.
Thanks.